Okay. All right, this is our hymn. Let us start with mantra. Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama ani stha shrutam me ma prahasihi anena dhitena horatran samdadhami Ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, tanmam avatu, tadvaktaram avatu, avatu mam, avatu vaktaram, avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So, this is the hymn of Archanana Atreya, which is also commented by Sri Aurobindo, powerful hymn. Let us read a little few of these verses. It is Jagati, different style, different meter, 12-syllabic meter, iambic. Ritasya gopau adhitishtathoratham satyadharmana parame viyomani yam atra mitra varuna avathach yuvam tasmai vrishtir madhumat pinvate divach. Sorry, I wrote. Yam atra mitra varuna avatho yuvam tasmai vrishtir Madhumat pinvate divach. You can hear the iambic meter. Yeah? Samrajavasya bhuvanasya rajatho mitra varuna vidathi suardrisha vrishtim vam radho amritatvam imahe Dhyava prithvi vicharanti tanyavach. So let me start with what Sri Aurobindo gives. He gives the preamble to this hymn, which is very powerful, which actually explains the whole hymn in one go. Mitra and Varuna, the givers of the rain, that very rain of heavens, which is like a blessing, like an intrusion of the higher substance into our lower hemisphere. By the way, the whole idea of rain falling on earth and making earth pregnant or capable of growing all the greeneries and food and all manifestation depends on waters from heaven. This is the Vedic idea. Heavenly waters are required. Mitra and Varuna are, by their united universality and harmony, the guardians of the divine truth and its divine law eternally perfect in the ether of our Supreme Being. Thence they rain down the abundance of the heavens in its bliss upon favored soul. See as in man of that world of truth, as they are their guardianship, as they are by their guardianship of its law rulers of all this becoming. They give us its rain of spiritual wealth and immortality. So the rain is also associated with ambrosia, amritam, soma. Soma is coming down from heaven, yes, to conceive our earth, to make our earth pregnant with the transcendental delight. Seers in man of that world of truth are they, as they are by their guardianship of its law, rulers of all this becoming. They give us its rain of spiritual wealth and immortality. The life powers range with the voice of the truth-seeking thought through earth and heaven, and the two kings come to their cry with the brilliant clouds full of the creative waters. It is by the Maya, the divine truth knowledge of the Lord, that they thus rain down heaven. Interesting formulation. They rain down heaven. It is by the Maya. Notice Maya is how Maya is used. The divine truth knowledge of the Lord. It's not yet the Maya as an illusion. The divine knowledge is the sun, the light, the weapon of Mitra and Varuna, ranging abroad to destroy the ignorance. At first the sun, the body of the truth, is concealed in the very storm of its outpourings, and only the sweetness of their streaming into the life is felt. And we have to read again. At first the sun, the body of the truth, is concealed in the very storm of its pourings. The sun is concealed by the storm of its pourings. And only the sweetness of their streaming into the life is felt. But the Maruts, as life powers and thought powers, range abroad, seeking in all the worlds of our being for the brilliant rays of the concealed knowledge to be gathered as a shining wealth. The voice of the rain is full of the flashings of the light and the movement of the divine waters. Its clouds become robes for the life powers. They are dressed into those clouds. Through it all, by the formative knowledge of the mighty Master of truth and by the law of the truth, the two kings maintain the divine workings in us, governing by the truth all our being, and finally set in its sky the sun, now revealed as a chariot of richly varied splendor of the knowledge, the chariot of the journey of the spirit to the highest heavens. It sounds like, whoa, what is this all about? Say it again. Yeah. What was all this? Clouds, rain, sweetness, yeah, pouring down heavens. It's not the language we use, and not the thoughts we think. Yeah? It is so far away from us as the Veda is. Yes, altogether. But it is still given to us, to human beings. If we read carefully this, we will see something very interesting here. It's actually the whole description of the holy hymn, of all the relations. So the rain, in other places it is said that the waters are carrying the light within. The light of the sun is hidden within the waters. They're covering the rays. To discover the consciousness of the Supreme, it is felt as the sweetness of those outpourings, yes, as he says here. At first, the sun, the body of the truth, is concealed in the very storm of its outpourings, and only the sweetness of their streaming into the life is felt. These are the experiential revelations of the supramental consciousness. First you feel the sweetness of their streaming, which are hiding the light behind. But the Maruts, our Maruts, which which are the energies of powers, of life powers and thought powers, range abroad, seeking in all the worlds of our being. We have a huge being from the top to the bottom, and they are ranging all over, searching for in all the worlds for our being, for the brilliant rays of the concealed knowledge to be gathered as the shining wealth. Our thought powers and life powers are now with the sweetness. Sweetness is Soma. Soma is coming, and they are ignited to search for the truth because the sweetness is there. The voice of the rain is full of the flashing of the light. So the voice of the rain, there is a voice of the rain. What's that? There is some kind of softness, and there are also flashings of lightning of the light and the movement of the divine waters. Its clouds become robes for the life powers, for Maruts. Maruts are dressing in the clouds. Maruts are having their weapons as lightnings also, and they are the army of Indra. Through it all by the formative knowledge, of the mighty master of truth, the Sun, and by the law of the truth, the two kings maintain the divine workings in us, governing by the truth all our being. And finally set in the sky the sun, the supermind, now revealed to us with all its splendor, as a chariot of the richly varied splendors of the knowledge. The chariot of the journey of the spirit to the highest heavens. So I read it twice. It's second time is closer a bit. Yes, it's like we read Savitri many times until it is a little closer. Okay, let us look into the hymn. Ritasya gopau adhitishtatho ratham satyadharmana parame viyomani yam atra mitra varuna vatho yuvam tasmai vrishtir madhumat pinvate divah. Guardians of the truth, you ascend your car, and the law of the truth is yours in the supreme ether. Supreme ether is a footnote, the infinity of the superconscient being. He whom you cherish, masters of the wideness and the harmony, of the wideness of the divine being and harmony of the divine consciousness, Varuna and Mitra. For him increases full of the honey, the rain of heaven. Honey is another adjective used for Soma. The honey, the clarified butter, rain full of honey, the rain of heaven. We forgot this imagery, we don't use it anymore, yes? It is not really appealing to us so much. We are not heaven-oriented. We are earth-oriented, as it were. Masters of the wideness and harmony, Sri Aurobindo translates Varuna and Mitra. Men, whom you hear, avathe, increase, or protect, or grow within, make grow, support his evolutionary growth. The rain of heaven overflows with its fullness of bliss. For you are the guardians of the truth, Ritasya Gopal, of the dynamic truth, who ascend their car in the highest heaven of the Supreme Being. It is from there you bring the fullness of the Supreme Ananda and pour onto the cherished soul of man. Samraja asya bhuvanasya rajatho Mitra Varuna vidathe swardrisha vrishtim vam radho amritatvam imahe Dyava Prithivi Vicharanti Tanyavah. Emperors, and there is a footnote for emperors, Samrat, having perfect kinship over the subjective and objective existence. Interesting definitions Sri Aurobindo gives to emperor. Yes, perfect kingship over the subjective and objective existence, both. Emperors, you rule over this world of our becoming. O Mitra and Varuna, in the getting of knowledge, you are seers of the realm of light. We desire from you the reign, the felicitous wealth, the immortality, all and lo, the thunderers range abroad through earth and heaven. So these thunderers, there is a footnote, the Maruts, life powers and thought powers, who find out the light of truth for all our activities. The world may also mean, the word is also may also mean formers or builders. Tanyabach. Tanyu is the also the lightning. So they are thunderers, arrange through abroad through earth and heaven. So our thoughts powers, Maruts, we have to say a few words about them. Thought powers and life powers. They are the counterpart of Indra. They are representatives of Indra's action in the lower hemisphere. So to say, they were born in the lower hemisphere. Their mother is deity, or she wanted to create the rivalry for Indra. She wanted Indra to be destroyed, actually. And she focused for thousands of years to bring to birth a hero who would kill Indra. So she, 1,000 years of tapasya, and she was impregnated and by Kashyapa, the mysterious representative of the Lord. And so she was carrying this hero for 1,000 years in her womb. And the last year, she made few kind of mistakes in the rituals. And through those mistakes, Indra could enter into her womb. Otherwise, Indra had no access to her because she was protected by the sacrifice. But because of few mistakes, where she became unconscious, she fell asleep and so on, Indra could enter. And when he entered for the purpose. He actually created even that her kind of fault perception in her, because he wanted to enter the womb and to deal with that hero who is to be born to kill him. Yes? And he cut that womb into 33 pieces. And these 33 pieces, so not one big warrior, but 33 smaller ones, were born. And these were Maruts. And Maruts were his rivalry at the beginning, until they realized, actually, that Indra is also their father, because he shaped them in the womb. He actually applied his, creativity onto them, and they became his company. They became his army on this side, on the deity's side, Aditi and deities. So Indra comes with the lightning of the sun from the beyond, and these powers which are as strong as Indra on this side, the thought energies, thought powers and life powers. And they noticed also, they discovered that their weapons, their spears, they have spears. And actually, Maruts are Brahmanas. Interestingly, they are Brahmanas, warriors Brahmanas. That their spears are shining with the light of the sun, or with the Indra's Vajra. Indra's Vajra, the light he brought into them. And that's why they are looking for the truth. They are constantly looking for the truth in the lower hemisphere, and they range abroad. That's what he says here. Range abroad through earth and heaven. They go even beyond in their search to that light. It's interesting to know these Maruts. We had the whole, like, 1.5 year dedicated only to the studies of Maruts, of our thought energies, how they seek for the truth. There are many hymns in the Rigveda dedicated to the Maruts. You are the two sovereigns of the universe. You rule over it equally here and beyond. And Mitra and Varuna, O Mitra and Varuna, it is you who discern the supreme heaven, Svar, in our searching for the truth. In our battle, here we seek your reign of grace and shining wealth and immortality as the Maruts who are moving and building up in thought and feeling all the resemblances of the truth, all that resembles the truth, who are thundering the word, invoking the truth. They are actually singers of the truth. They are Brahmins. They are singing the hymns, moving all over heaven and earth in search for the truth. So their thunderings are actually the invocations, the word invoking the truth. Thunder, there's not lightnings. They have lightnings also, and they have thunders. And so their thunderings are the invocations of the truth. Because thunder is actually the outcome of the lightning, as you know. So there must be somewhere the light. Light calls the light. Thundering, that's what we hear from their innermost nature of the truth. They're longing for the truth, and they create these thunderings. Very rich and very archaic imagery. Yeah? You won't find it anywhere, most probably. Even in the Bible, in the archaic Bible, it would be difficult to find this type. Of course, rain, lightning, sun, universal images, yes, right. But that thunder is the invocation of the truth.
What it reminds me of, Vladimir, is in the essays on the Gita, where Sri Aurobindo talks about how the suffering, the pain, the storm of life is necessary for the evolution. If everything was hunky-dory, we wouldn't try, we wouldn't move, we wouldn't be motivated toward. So calling this the storm, that the light is hidden, the supramental is hidden by the storm, just reminds me that when we feel like we're totally in turmoil, it means things are working. The light is there. We're in process, but it feels terrible to us. We only want the peaceful time.
Yeah, very, very great insight, actually. So this light from above, or light through a light, cannot come to us peacefully, like, we are in peace and we receive the peaceful light and everything is done. It's actually storming in. Yeah? It cannot come without the breaking through. There's a resistance. It's something like when you enter the earthly atmosphere, yes, when the thing falls into earthly atmosphere, it starts burning because there is a resistance of the whole atmosphere. So the new element to enter for it, there will be a storming in and hiding behind the truth which wants to come. Yeah, very good insight. Samraja ugra, Vrishabha Divaspati, Prithivya Mitra Varuna, Vicharshani, Chitrebhih Abharaich, Upatishtatho Ravam, Dhyam Varshayatchach. That's what he's translating directly. Dhyam Varshayatchach, Asurasya Mayaya. Emperors, strong bulls of the abundance, masters of earth and heaven, O Mitra and Varuna, universal in your workings, you approach their cry with your clouds of varied light, and you rain down heaven. This is Dhyam Varshayatah, by the power of the knowledge of the Mighty One, Asurasya Mayaya. Now, Asura is not the Asura as we know it in the post-Vedic sense, yes? It is built from different root even. It's not Asura. Sura is the light, yes? Asura with long U is the one who is without light, dark. But Asura with short U is from root As. Asu is the life force. From root As, to be, Asti. Yeah? So it's kind of interesting to see this. So Asura is the one who possesses this mighty one, who possesses the life force, who makes everything alive, who represents the being. It's kind of the epithet for Atman, as it were, in the post-Vedic period or in the post-Vedic philosophy. Yes? Atmanipi is something like the self because the being is there. So Asura is the one who possesses the being, who is, who has the life force to be, literally. And there is a word aso, which means life force. So of this Asura, of the one who is, by his Maya, you rain heaven upon us. Yes. You too, O Mitra and Varuna, approach our call with your rainy clouds, full of light, making heaven pour onto us by the knowledge power of the great and mighty one. There is an interesting passage from Savitri actually here. We're using similar imagery of the Vedic Maruts as stone gods, revealing a deeper knowledge of revelation, a relation between thought and word, light and sound, sight and hearing. Let us read these passages on heights unreached by mind's most daring soar, upon a dangerous edge of failing time, the soul draws back into its deathless self. Man's knowledge becomes God's supernal ray. There is the mystic realm, whence leaps the power, whose fire burns in the eyes of seer and sage, a lightning flash of visionary sight. It plays upon an inward verge of mind, thought silenced gazes into a brilliant void. A voice comes down from mystic, unseen peaks. A cry of splendor from a mouth of storm. It is the voice that speaks to nights profound. It is the thunder of the flaming coal. Now notice how Sri Aurobindo is utilizing the imagery of the Veda, the most archaic. You can see it just directly used. Now when we read Savitri and we do not know where it is from, we just wonder, maybe is it really poetic imagery only? It's poem, most probably, poetry. But it is not only poetry. A spirit within looks into the Eternal's eyes. It hears the word to which our hearts were deaf. It sees through the blaze in which our thoughts grew blind. It drinks from the naked breasts of glorious truth. Ritam pibantau sukritasya loke from the Rigveda. It learns the secrets of eternity. Thus all was plunged into the riddling night. Thus all is raised to meet a dazzling sun. I didn't read the footnote for Asura, but I spoke about this. Here Sri Aurobindo has his footnote, the mighty one. Yes, Maya also for the Maya. Maya, the creative knowledge, will of the Deva. Notice how he translates it. Not an illusion. Asura, a word used in the Veda as in the Avesta also, for the Deva. Ahur Mazda, Asura Mazda. You see, Ahura is Asura in the Persian languages, in the Avesta language. But also for the gods. There are many Asuras, yes, his manifestations. It is only in a few hymns that it is used for the dark titans by another and fictitious derivation, Asura, and not luminous and not gods. It is Asura, and in other places in the Upanishads also he speaks about this. Later, in the post-Vedic, Asura with short u and long u means the same thing. Titan, yes? Asura only. It doesn't mean really anymore the divine. But in the Veda, the Asuras are not only Mitra and Varuna. It's also Indra Asura. It's also Agni Asura. Everyone is nearly called Asura who has the power of the being, yeah, the force to be. Mayavam Mitra Varunadi Vishreta Suryo Jyoti Charati Chitram Ayudham Tam Abhrena Vrishtiya Guhatho Divi Parjanya Drapsa Madhumanta Irate. This is your knowledge, O Mitra and Varuna. That is lodged in heaven. This is your knowledge, O Mitra and Varuna, that is lodged in heaven. It is the sun, it is the light, it ranges abroad as your reach and varied weapon. You hide it in heaven with the cloud, and with the raining, or rain, full of the honey, start forth thy streamings. And this is your Maya, on knowledge power which abides in heaven. The sun and the light are her creations. Moving as the weapon full of light, of consciousness, it comes down into this creation. Her creations means Maya says. And you too hide it by the fullness of your waters, carried in the clouds. So the clouds is the first cover, the waters is another cover. There are several covers, yes, of the truth. The streams of bliss start to pour down. The streams, most probably, yeah? Missing. Or rain. The two kings hide his weapon of lightning, within the clouds pouring down the blissful waters of delight. I will be having the whole appendix on Maya inspire rays of the sun from this verse as an appendix later. So we will go into Maya and see how Sri Aurobindo speaks about Maya in the Life Divine and in the Secret of the Veda. Maya Vam, your Maya, of you both, Mitra Varuna, or Mitra and Varuna, Divishrita, which is lodged in heaven. So the Maya is lodged in heaven. Suryo Jyoti Charati Chitra Mayudham. It is the sun, Surya. It is the light, Jyoti. It ranges abroad as your rich and varied weapon. Charati Chitra Mayudham. Charati moves, Chitram as full of light, Ayudham and varied weapon. So it's not only the light of knowledge, it's also the weapon, the sword. You remember what Jesus says? That I'm not coming to you with knowledge, I bring you the sword, the sword. And this sword was so many times interpreted in different ways, in a wrong way also. That is the sword which has to pierce the darkness and bring the light in. Ayudham. Tam Abhrena, and with this cloud, Vrishtiya, and Vrishti with rain. Guhatho Devi, you are hiding in heaven. Parjanya Drapsamadhumanta Hirate, and the rain, or Parjanya. Parjanya is the god of rain. Drapsamadhumanta Hirate, full of the honey, start forth thy streamings. I know we are in a very archaic realm of knowledge. Very archaic, prehistoric. We think in the imagery of the Vedic rishis now. This is how they saw the manifestation, the rain. If you look at the rain when it is pouring from above and see the lightnings, this is a perfect imagery for this, of heaven leaping, reaching down to us. Yes, first with nourishment, then with clouds covering the light, covering the revelations, yes, but still already leaping down, reaching to us. It's a perfect natural imagery. Ratham yunjate marutach shubhe sukham. Even sukham is here again. Shurona mitra varuna gavishtishu. Rajansi chitra vicharanti tanyavach divach samraja payasa naukshatam. The life powers yoke their happy car for the bliss. The life powers, maruts, yoke their happy car for the bliss. Even as might a hero, even as might a hero for the battle, O Mitra and Varuna, in their seekings for the herds of light, thundering they ranged the varied worlds. And you pour out on us, rulers imperial, the water of heaven. Ratham yunjante marutacham, maruts you yoke your ratham, your movement, swiftness. Shubhe sukham, your ratham which is sukham, yes? Your happy car. Shubhe for the bliss, for the shubh. This is dative case, Vedic dative case from root of shubh. Every root in a Vedic language could be the word, yes? You take the root shubh as a root and you can make it a word in feminine gender. So shubhe is dative case, yeah? Marute. Easy to read, by the way. Ratham yunjate marutach shubhe sukham. Shuro na Mitra Varuna gavishtishu. In their seekings gavishtishu, for the herds of light. In their seekings of the herds of light, this is actually for the herds of light, is gavishtishu, gavi ishtishu. Interesting word. Composed and long term joined this composition into one word, yes? Seeking for light. Shurona, as if the warrior, as if the hero, even as might, a hero for battle. Interesting. Rajansi Chitra Vicharanti Tanyavach, thunderings Tanyavach. They range the varied worlds. Rajansi Chitrani. Rajansi is the vital worlds, the worlds in between heavens and earth. The luminous worlds of the vital, yeah, Trini Rajansi. There are three worlds of vital: the higher vital, the middle, and the lower. Rajansi Chitrani, these luminous realms of the vital world, Vicharanti, you move through in all directions. Or Tanyavach, the thunderers, they are the thunderers, or thunders, literally. Thundering, they range the varied worlds, and you pour out on us. Samraja Payasana Ukshatam, and you are pouring onto us. Samraja, rule is imperial, the water of heaven. By Payasa. Payasa, Payas, is also heavenly, as actually the milk mixed with water. So, of the heaven, you pour onto us the milk of heaven. Soma. Nourishing milk, that's how I translate. We have, how many? We have two more. Maybe I will stop here for today because it's done 10 minutes. I want to hear your voices. Yes, share your thoughts, insights, if you have questions also. Don't you feel archaic, as if you stepped into something? No? Sabi says she's at home.
I don't think it's archaic. I think the intuitive language is so beautiful just when you're reading the phrases of the honeyed grace and the rains of honey. You feel something very beautiful. And even after your classes last week, it echoes in the background for the whole week. It makes you aware of a different dimension. It's very beautiful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is. I agree. And I feel the depth, into the nature and into something fundamental. And that's what I mean, archaic, yes. Fundamental touches you, yes. Archaic is not a bad word. It's not like archives, put it away somewhere and have nothing, no excess. Archaic is something fundamental, yes, original. archaic consciousness is used by Gebser also, archaic stage where spirit and nature are one. Yes, Deepti.
It was like a meditative experience. The first time I'm listening to Rigveda, and I had so many insights. I don't think 10 minutes is enough. So maybe I'll share it with you separately. But
No, share with the
when
group.
you're
It's always good. It's really so good to share with the group because others are also thinking the same or feeling the same, and so it resonates with others. That's why we are here together. Yes, it's a study group.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your permission. When you were talking about the storm of the sun and the clouds, I was remembering Hiranmaya Patrena of Isha Upanishad, where the sun is covered by the golden orb, and with Satya and Dharma, we can pierce it. So,
Yeah, very good insight. Yes. Hiralmayena patrena satyasyapi
that's
hitam.
Mukham,
Yeah,
Satyam, Pushana Pavrano, Satya Dharma Drishti. And
correct.
when you're talking of the Marut as the life force, I remember Gitanjali also talking about it once. And I see how it's evolved now to Maruti or Hanuman. And Hanuman in my lineage is known as Mukhya Prana. And Prana is life force, so I could make that connection. And maybe our monkey mind needs to be tamed. And just like Hanuman became a yogi through training, and we have to do this with sadhana. Once these thoughts are aligned with the divine will, then that sweetness will flow. So that was the second insight.
It's not bad what you said about monkey mind, Hanuman, because these are the Maruts, absolutely, and he is a Maruta. His name is Maruta.
Yeah.
He is of one. He is the major Marut, actually. That is him, Hanuman.
Yeah.
And he has the club, and he is flying through, and he is the son of the wind. Yeah, he is the Vayu.
Vayuputra, Vayuputra Hanuman.
No, absolutely. So this is
And
energy of the thought and life, yes, which is seeking the truth, wants to serve the truth. Yes, absolutely, Deepti.
and the third insight was around yoga, actually, which is life force to be tamed through pranayama. And in Kriya Yoga, we are taught that when we do the Kriya, the final goal is to taste the Amrit in the tongue, which flows through the realms of the brain. And, we taste the Amrit. So I also
Yep.
felt that this could be very symbolic to yoga also, that our thoughts have to be aligned with the divine will. And when you said the invocation as the thunder, it's when we have these breakthroughs and we realize that, yeah, we cannot live without the divine, and we want to surrender to the divine, and our thoughts and actions become aligned with the divine will. That's when we taste the Amrit of life.
Interesting, yeah. In Savitri, there is, he cast the cry of adoration and desire, the cry, for the truth. There is something interesting about this desperate kind of cry, which may be seen as psychological as a thunder. Yes, you are no more kind of wishy-washy here and there, trying to reconcile between your old self and something to receive something new. No, it's a total decisive movement of not going back. Yeah. And it looks like something like breaking through, like a thunder in a way. It's
Yeah.
yes, it's kind of interesting image.
And the fourth insight was when you said payasa. Actually, in Telugu and Kannada, payasam is kheer. And during festivals, we usually make it And then I realized maybe it's symbolic, we are having this sweet because eventually we need to taste that sweetness within. So we are taking that in to celebrate the festival, and the inner meaning is to actually do the sadhana and taste the amrita through the payasam. So that was one insight.
Nice.
And the last one is not related to yoga, but tarot. A sword in tarot is actually, it belongs to the air element, interestingly. And here we are talking about the Vayu and the Vayuputra. And it represents thoughts in us. So I was seeing the relation between tarot and what you're saying today.
Sword.
Yeah, there's a card which came to my mind. It's called the Ace of Swords, which is
Yeah, I know.
that cutting through what you said, how the sword cuts through, and we get those insights and we get those. So
I
that's
was
the air
thinking,
element.
yeah, I was thinking more about how Athena was born from the head of Zeus, breaking his head. This breaking through thought as breaker, yeah, in a way, kind of interesting the idea, because the Maruts have these spears. They operate by spears, and their spears are shining with the light of the sun. And so they're breaking through, they're seeking the truth by those spears. Yes. Thank you, Deepti. Maya.
Interesting.
In relation to this, is there not a line in Savitri or maybe one of Sri Aurobindo's aphorisms that one cannot storm the heavens by force or something along those lines?
Yes. Well, in that sense, yes, with the ego sense. You cannot go there like the king who tried the Babylonian tower, you remember? The king wanted to conquer heaven by his own force, and he built the tower, and he came to the top of the close to heaven, and he wanted to come to heaven with his own ego sense. So he shot the arrow into heaven. Can you imagine? He wanted to fight heaven. And he received the answer, actually. He wanted to get the lightning. The lightning came down and destroyed the whole tower. And he fell at the... This is a very good symbol of ego trying to get to heaven. But not the thought energies which are charged with this kind of intrinsic inbuilt powers of the recognition of the truth. They kind of sense it. They know what it should be, but they didn't find it. So with that intuitive drive, they are looking for it everywhere until they find it. This is we, actually. Maruts are we. Today, what we are doing here now, this is Maruts, yes? We are tuning our thoughts and our energies to find the truth. And many times we cannot, we just disappears because we are clogged with so many things in between, and other energies come in. So Maruts do not dominate. They have to dominate. They have to move with their weapons, pierce all those, obstacles, cut through, so to say, to find the truth. Yes, Soumya.
Vladimir, I had two questions. One with regards to any Veda, not just the Rigveda, all the Vedas that Sri Aurobindo has written about. Is there any place where the Vedas talk about the psychic yearning or the psychic? Because every Veda seems to be more leaning towards the Jnana Yoga, the knowledge aspect, and the cosmic consciousness. And at least I'm not aware of any of the Vedas talking about the psychic or the psychic yearning.
So you start with what is not there, yes? What is not there in the Veda? Is there psychic? Let me see. Can you tell us? Yeah. And the second one?
The second one is very interesting. You said from Indra were born these 30 Maruts, and then they forgot their own father. then started fighting with him? I just wanted
They
to.
didn't fight with him, never.
Oh, okay.
They recognized in him something. Instead of fighting him, they actually became his allies. Yes, and they became his army. It is with them he always conquers. Yeah, it is through them and with their help he can come down. Indra cannot come down easily, because he brings the light which is uninvolved, the lightning of the sun. And that lightning of the sun is piercing, gives you the how to say, the view in a moment, like intuition, aha. But then it goes, doesn't stay. Indra cannot stay. But with Maruts, he can. With Maruts, because Maruts are on this side, our energy source. So they are charged with his insight. They recognize him as the leader. They recognize his energy, his light. And by that light, they are driven. So they continue their work, yes, as it were. When the lightning is gone, then they continue their drive, search for the truth. So enlightened by Indra, and our thought powers and energies continue search, because we got one's intuition, we know what it is now. We are charged, we charged our thoughts, and with our thoughts now charged by his light, we continue. And this is something very psychological. It is exactly what is happening. Yeah? Otherwise, if we would not have Maruts on his side, these lightnings would be of hardly any use. Yeah? They would not be so effective, as it were. Yes, yes, Maya.
So when we listen to these passages or we dwell on the words as some of the imagery forms, if there's part of us which sort of like kind of shoots up or almost tries to feel the clouds veiling the sun or the rains of honeyed bliss and delight, are those like the maruts in
Yes,
theory?
it is in a way. When you start experiencing, when you have those experiences, you will actually easily associate them with this imagery. Yes, you will find that this imagery is the most suitable for this description. Interestingly, yes. But without experience, it looks like a very nice poetry or something. And yes, I have to say about Somia's first question about psychic. She is into psychic. So I have to say this because that's important. Psychic being as such appears much later in the history of or the evolution of consciousness, much later. In the Veda, they have it, but in the form of kind of discovery that it is in the heart. Yes. So there is this, it starts with this, Agni Mile, I seek the divine flame with adoration, with love. That is psychic. But Mother says, Satprem asked her about this. I've said this many times, but I will say again. Satprem asked her, was there psychic being in the Veda? And did Vedic rishis know about a psychic being? And she said, no, they didn't, but they discovered it. And this tells me that that discovery took place later, not from the original archaic, long-standing prehistoric times where the sacrifice was done by Agni as universal force, as the force of Rudra, let us say that way. Yes? Rudra is that universal Agni, which is pushing the whole evolution forward. Tapasya. Tapasvins are the ancient ones, yes? But then this light in their heart was discovered, that light is actually much more efficient, love for the divine, than willpower, tapasya. The love is much more efficient. And so the whole change took place in the whole evolution of consciousness, in the esoteric evolution or esoteric history, let us say that way. The change took place, and you can see it in all religions. but I mean it in all, from the sacrificing Purusha, sacrificing nature, to sacrificing the love, yeah, for the divine heart. Give your heart, give your lamb pure, not your son's body. I don't need the body of your son. Yeah? The body of your son means the effort made in the nature. They give me the lamb pure. That means lamb is the symbol of the psychic or the flame in the heart. Bring me your love. I don't need your effort in the body. So this shift took place. I'm using the Bible imagery here, but to tell you that it is everywhere. The same happened in Hinduism also. There was more predominantly the ancient rishis who were doing tapasya. Tapasya, effort by the flame in nature, tapas, heat it up, yes? Focus all your will on achieving something. By the way, this is the major drive even today, in today's world. Yes, it's mainly by the effort, by the will, by the, by your own focus that you want to achieve something. If you don't focus on things, you can't achieve anything. This is egoistic way of betterment of nature. Egoistic. Yeah? Ego is present in tapasvins. They're supremely egoistic, tapasvins. They deny the whole nature, the whole world to get there what they want to get. Yes? But this one is just the opposite. Yeah? It loves the divine and it wants to surrender to the divine will totally, whatever it may be. It does not insist on anything of its own. That's why Mother spoke about these two paths, of the path of the baby monkey and the path of the baby cat. Yes, baby cat is carried by the mother and gives itself totally to the mother. Whatever happens, mother drops, I'm dying. Okay, yeah. Whatever mother decides. Yes. But the monkey holds onto the mother and not let go, and the grip has to be strong. Otherwise, if the grip is weakened, you fall. It's your fault. So there is your fault, tapasvin, and the divine fault, surrender. So you have two paths, which Mother says cannot be easily reconciled. And there is a reason, deeper reason, psychological, for this, and that's why most probably in the Veda, when they address Agni, they speak of him in two major forms, yes, as Priya and Yajatra, or Idya and Yajata. So Yajata one is the one who constantly transforming the nature, yes, the power in nature. And the Idya, beloved one, sought with adoration, Priya, is this in the heart. Yeah? So psychic is there, yeah? Discovered by the rishis. Such a long answer to Soumya.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Great. Deepti wanted to say something but stopped.
Yeah, I just had a question.
We have
This
two
30th
Deeptis now.
film.
Deeptis. Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, Deepti, do you want to say something? Raghavendra, Indra of Raghavas.
Oh, I never correlated those. It's surprising. In fact, I wanted to talk about Indra only. Indra himself, I think, has an element of, I don't know, Idandra.
Yes.
You know, that space from which is coming
Yeah.
from. And the earlier session when you mentioned about how Agastya's, finally he has to pay the obeisance
Yeah.
to cross, to reach out. So even the ordinary word like bhakti, bhajati, to partake of. So if it is
Shame.
correlating to any kind of yajna, surrender, sacrifice, there has to be that love element. So Soumya's question, somehow it's kind of connecting for me like that. So in all this, wherever Agni is invoked through the entire journey, without that element, probably there is no crossing anywhere, at least in the essence. That's how I'm seeing that.
Yeah, you mentioned Idandra, breaking these two, yeah? Indra is always breaking through. Indra is that lightning, piercing, breaking through the ceiling of our closed, mentality. We are not open to the beyond. So he has to come down. And he is piercing and bringing, yes. And this is from Aitareya Idandra. It is a secret name of Indra. Indra. Yeah. That is, this major name tells us what the divine does with this force. It is the force which comes down with the light, uninvolved light, brings it down to be involved, to answer. It's like the answer to the call. So Agni is constant call from below. There are two Agnis. One is Tapasya, Agni, calling from below, and there is the flame in the heart, the surrendering to the divine, calling also from within the heart. This is one Agni rising. Once it is coming to the heart, Indra answers. He comes. So we need framing of that aspiration again by the heart. It has to be framed by the intention from the depth of the heart. And that's why Brihaspati is a new godhead. I deviated from your Deepti, sorry, from your topic, somehow carried away again.
No, I got it. Whichever, when you put it across, it's making complete sense. And I also understood, earlier when somebody mentioned about Marut Hanuman, I think Dikti mentioned, he's also the 11th Rudra.
Yeah.
So somewhere now that the force of Rudra, I see that.
Absolutely. And Maruts are also the children of Rudra, many times mentioned. Sometimes they are not, sometimes they are. Interestingly, because these are the flames rising from below, within the nature, thought energies, thought powers. Yes, they are born here, so to say, but they carry that truth within themselves, that Agni in them, yes, is there. Rudra's Agni is in them. And so once that Rudra's Agni joins the Agni of the son of Indra, then they are complete. They are very powerful together. So it's like Rudra joining Vishnu, yes, Shiva joining Vishnu. And then the sacrifice is fulfilled, yes. It becomes much more efficient. These are all images which are very useful for us psychologically to deal with, yes, to understand our nature, our divine nature. Because as long as we are not looking for something to answer from above, it makes no sense. But the moment we start looking for that connection from above, these texts become very useful. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for today. I'm already over time, 13 minutes. Let me close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste.